ki. Ananda Gaura Vaishnava ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to some devotees, all glories to some devotees, all glories to some devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. How does this light go on? Okay, we're reading from the Sri Caitanya, Caritamrta. This is Madhya Lila, chapter 8, and it's opened up here to text 99. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we're on text 99 here, it says. It says chapter 8. Maybe you could tell us specifically where we are here. Oh, you don't know? Okay. Huh? Talks to Ramananda Roy. Yeah, we're on. I have here text 99. Is that where we are? Okay, 99 it is. I'll just read the English on this. How long do you read, or do you read a few verses, or do you just?
I usually read until they want to do a discussion, so they can read for like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, however long.
Okay, well I'll read and then see if there's anything I have to say, and then we'll have some discussion. Just as Srimati Radharani is most dear to Sri Krishna, her bathing place, known as Radha Kund, is also dear to him. Among all the gopis, Srimati Radharani is supermost and very dear to Lord Krishna. Purport. This verse is from the Padma Purana and is included in the Lagu Bhagavatamrita by Srila Rupa Goswami. It also appears in Adi Lila, chapter 4, verse 215. Text 100. When the gopis began to talk among themselves, they said, "Dear friends, the gopis who has been taken away by Krishna to a secluded place must have worshipped the Lord more than anyone else." Purport. The name Radha is derived from this verse, 10:30:28, from the word Ana Ya Radhita, meaning by her the Lord is worshipped. Sometimes the critics of Srimad Bhagavatam find it difficult to find Radharani's holy name, but the secret is disclosed here in the word Aradhita, from which the word Radha has come. Of course, the name Radharani is directly mentioned in other Puranas. This gopi's worship of Krishna is topmost, and therefore her name is Radha, or the topmost worshipper. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshram Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Mukam Kotava Chalang Bangunang Hayate Garim Yat Kripa Tadaham Bande Shri Gurum Didadaranam Vanchakapatubhyascha Kripa Sindhubdevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. It's described in the Vedic literatures that Krishna is very attractive, the most attractive. Sometimes people, they put jewelry on their bodies, ornaments on their bodies to make the bodies look more attractive. But Krishna is so attractive that no jewelry or ornaments can make Krishna look more attractive. But Krishna makes the ornaments look more attractive. There's only one thing that makes Krishna look more attractive, and that's when Radharani is next to him. She's very attractive, and she is the best at worshipping Krishna, at pleasing Krishna. Text 101. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Please speak on. I am very happy to hear you because a river of unprecedented nectar is flowing from your mouth." Text 102. During the Rasa dance, Sri Krishna did not exchange loving affairs with Srimati Radharani due to the presence of the other gopis. Because of the dependence of the others, the intensity of love between Radha and Krishna was not manifest. Therefore, he stole her away. 103. Purport. Out of fear of the other gopis, Lord Sri Krishna took Srimati Radharani to a secluded place. In this regard, the verse Kamasharir Api, the following verse 106, will be quoted from the Gita Govinda of Jayadev Goswami. Text 103. If Lord Sri Krishna rejected the company of the other gopis for Srimati Radharani, we can understand that Lord Sri Krishna has intense affection for her. Text 104. Ramananda Roy continued, "Please therefore hear from me about the glories of Srimati Radharani's loving affairs. They are beyond compare within these three worlds." In the Caitanya Caritamrta, it's mentioned the difference between lust and love. Atmendra pritivanchitali ralikam krishnanda itya dari premanan. Lust means the desire to satisfy one's own senses. And love is the desire to satisfy the senses of Krishna. So this is real love. So many different definitions of love, so many songs about what is love. But this is the definition of love. The desire to satisfy the senses of Krishna. Krishna, he has senses. He has likes and he has dislikes, just like we have likes and dislikes. So Krishna does as well. And then one may ask, well, how do we know how to satisfy the senses of Krishna? One may ask. So how do we satisfy the senses of Krishna? Please his devotee. Yes. Yes. He says that he who says that he is my devotee is not my devotee. But he who says that he is the devotee of my devotee, he's my devotee. So we learn from the devotees how to please Krishna's senses. Yeah. And he explains himself in the Bhagavad Gita what pleases him. Manmana bhava madbhakto majjajimam namaskaram mavaivasya satyam de pratichane priya. He says, always think of me. The mind is another sense. The master of the senses is the mind. So to always think of Krishna, not easy. But this is very pleasing to Krishna. And it's also, we have that experience, sometimes you might go up to a friend and say, oh, I was just thinking of you. And that kind of touches the heart. Oh, really? And you hope it was a good thought. So, if we're thinking of Krishna with good thoughts, there's some people think of God with bad thoughts, unfortunately. So to think of Krishna, become his devotee, worship him. Radharani is the best at worshiping Krishna. Aradito, Yadharis tapasat saki. So yeah, to worship Krishna is very pleasing to Krishna. It's not that Krishna is he's an egomaniac and he just wants everybody to worship him. No, he knows this is the best thing for ourselves to worship him, to please him. Krishna, he's Atmaram. He doesn't need anyone or anything. He's completely self-satisfied. This is Krishna. We need so many things to try to find satisfaction, and then we're still not satisfied. But when we please Krishna, Krishna bhakti nishkama atvishanta bhukti mukti siddhikami sakliya shanta. That the devotees of the Lord, they're very peaceful because they're satisfied in serving Krishna, in thinking of Krishna, and worshipping Krishna, pleasing Krishna. They're satisfied that way. Kachang vichang vang api divya ratnang swamin kutatosi varam nayache. Like Dhruva Maharaj, he had a very big material desire. His desire was to have a kingdom greater than that of Lord Brahma. After his father insulted him. But then after getting purified by thinking of Krishna, then he said, Kachang viching vang api divyaratnam. Now I'm fully satisfied. I don't want anything but to serve you. He said, I was searching for broken glass. That's what he compared, that big desire that he had to have a kingdom greater than that of Lord Brahma. He compared that to broken glass. Now how valuable is broken glass? What do? When you see broken glass, you just want to clean it and throw it away. Right? No value whatsoever. Can't do anything with broken glass. It's a good example. No value at all. All you can do with it is just throw it away. So these material things, they don't bring satisfaction. Broken glass, no value. So therefore, devotee is not interested in all these material things. Yehi samsparsha javoga dukkha yonaya evade adyantavanta konti and tesuramadevada. An intelligent person does not take part in the source of misery, which is due to contact with the material senses. Such pleasures, they have a beginning and an end. Just like, let's say, Dhruva Maharaj, he was able to get a kingdom greater than that of Lord Brahma. There would be a beginning of having it, and then he would have to give it up. Right? But when we attain love for Krishna, that's the most wonderful thing we could ever attain. And we never give it up. We never give it up. And it gets better and better and better. In material life, someone has some material desire, and let's say he gets it. Someone has a desire to get a let's say I don't know, Rolls Royce, very expensive car, and he finally gets it. And then someone bumps his car, puts a big dent in his car. Oh, so painful. So painful. Imagine how expensive it is to fix a Rolls Royce. So, yeah, material things, they're a cause of misery. But to be conscious of Krishna is a cause of the highest, ultimate happiness. Now one may ask, well, how is it that it's always increasing? Because there's a reciprocation with Krishna and his devotee. Ye yatamam papajyante tam sata bhujamyam. When Krishna sees that his devotee is pleasing him selflessly, then he wants to reciprocate, and he fills that devotee with so much happiness. And then Krishna, or the devotees, he's so appreciative. He's reciprocating. So I want to please Krishna more. And then Krishna wants to please. It's a constant competition going on. In the Caitanya Caritamrta, it said that the desire to enjoy the material world and the desire for liberation, these are like two witches that haunt the living entity. And as long as one retains these two things, the desire to enjoy the material world and the desire to be liberated, one cannot taste the nectar of devotional service. One cannot taste the pleasure of service to Krishna. So, by this process of chanting Hare Krishna and hearing about Krishna for a long time, as it's stated by Kapila Dev, then gradually we get purified. We get free of these two witches. We get free of this, of being haunted by these two witches. So continuing. Text 103. This is very deep subject matter, by the way. This is way very high subject matter here. I feel embarrassed even to be reading this. If Lord Krishna rejected the company of the other gopis for Srimati Radharani, we can understand that Lord Sri Krishna has intense affection for her. Text 104. Ramananda Roy continued, please, therefore hear from me about the glories of Srimati Radharani's loving affairs. They are beyond compare within these three worlds. Text 105. Finding herself treated equally with all the other gopis, Srimati Radharani displayed her tricky behavior and left the circle of the rasa dance. Missing Srimati Radharani's presence, Krishna became very unhappy and began to lament and wander throughout the forest to search her out. Text 106. Lord Krishna, the enemy of Kamsa, took Srimati Radharani within his heart, for he desired to dance with her. Thus he left the arena of the rasa dance and the company of all the other beautiful damsels of Vraj. Text 107. being afflicted by the arrow of Cupid, and unhappily regretting his mistreating Radharani, Madhava, Lord Krishna, began to search for Srimati Radharani along the banks of the Jamuna River. When he failed to find her, he entered the bushes of Vrindavan and began to lament. There's one little pastime of this. One of our artists drew a picture of this, where Krishna is lamenting because he couldn't find Radharani. And she showed the picture to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, "What is this?" And Radharani said, Prabhupada had mentioned in the Caitanya Caritamrta that Krishna, he was lamenting because he couldn't find Radharani. But I guess it was not exactly in the right mood. So Prabhupada said, "No, you could say that this is where he's having a headache." Inconceivable. Prabhupada mentioned he had a headache. And there's that pastime where Krishna, he had a headache, and he told his servant that the only thing that will cure this is if I get the dust from the feet of my devotee. So the servant went around trying to find somebody. "Hey, Krishna's got a headache, and please can you give the dust off your feet?" And so he said, "This is the only thing. Please, can you give the dust off your feet?" Put it on Krishna's head. "I'm not going to do that. I'll go to hell. I can't do that." And he was going to so many devotees, big devotees. No, I can't do that. I can't put the dust on my feet." Imagine if someone was asked you, put the dust to your feet on Krishna's head. You're like, "No." But when they went to the gopis said, yeah, take, hey, scraping it off their feet. "Here, take, as much as you like. But aren't you afraid you might go to hell?" "I don't care. Krishna's got a headache. We have to please Krishna. He wants the dust on my feet. No problem. I go to hell. That's all right. I want to please Krishna." This is devotion. Didn't care about their own unhappiness. They're only concerned with Krishna's happiness. That's a devotee. Huh? Text 108. Simply by considering these two verses, one can understand what nectar there is in such dealings. It is exactly like freeing a mine of nectar. Text 109. Although Krishna was in the midst of hundreds of thousands of gopis during the rasa dance, and these aren't just ordinary women, they're all more beautiful than any woman on this planet. Much more beautiful than any woman on this planet, just extraordinarily beautiful. But Krishna was still lamenting that he didn't have Srimati Radharani. He still kept himself in one of his transcendental forms by the side of Srimati Radharani. I'll read the whole verse again, it was actually connected. Although Krishna was in the midst of hundreds of thousands of gopis during the rasa dance, he still kept himself in one of his transcendental forms by the side of Srimati Radharani. Text 110. Lord Krishna is equal to everyone in his general dealings, but due to the conflicting ecstatic love of Srimati Radharani, there were opposing elements. Text 111. The progress of loving affairs between young couples is like the movement of a snake. On account of this, two types of anger arise between young couples: anger with a cause and anger without a cause. Purport. During the rasa dance, one form of Krishna was between every two gopis. However, by the side of Srimati Radharani was only one Krishna. Although this was the case, Srimati Radharani still manifested disagreement with Krishna. This verse is from the Ujjvala Nilamani, written by Srila Rupa Goswami, text 112. When Radharani, out of anger and resentment, left the rasa dance, Lord Sri Krishna, not seeing her, became very anxious. Text 113. Lord Krishna's desire in the Rasa Leela circle is perfectly complete, but Srimati Radharani is the binding link in that desire. Text 114. The Rasa dance does not shine in the heart of Krishna without Srimati Radharani. Whoops, there goes the water. Therefore, he also gave up the circle of the Rasa dance and went out to search for her. When Krishna went out to search for Srimati Radharani, he wandered here and there. However, not finding her, he became afflicted by the arrow of Cupid and began to lament. After hearing this, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu said to Ramananda Roy, "That for which I have come to your residence has now become an object of truth in my knowledge." Text 118. Now I have come to understand the sublime goal of life and the process of achieving it. Nevertheless, I think that there is something more ahead, and my mind is desiring to have it. Text 119. Kindly explain the transcendental features of Krishna and Srimati Radharani. Also explain the truth of transcendental mellow and the transcendental form of love of Godhead. Text 120. Kindly explain all these truths to me, but for yourself no one can ascertain them. Text 121. Sri Ramananda Roy replied, I do not know anything about this. I simply vibrate the sound you make me speak. It's like Sukadeva Goswami in the Srimad Bhagavatam. He prays to Krishna, please, what did he say? Some to the effect, I can't remember the exact translation, but please, with your purity, enter into my mind and my heart so that what I speak will be beneficial to those who I'm speaking to. I don't remember the exact, something to that effect. Text 122. I simply repeat like a parrot whatever instructions you have given me. You are the Supreme Personality of God Himself. Who can understand your dramatic performances? Text 123. You inspire me within the heart and make me speak with the tongue. I do not know whether I am speaking well or badly. Text 124. Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, I am a Mayavadi in the renounced order of life, and I do not even know what transcendental loving service to the Lord is. I simply float in the ocean of Mayavad philosophy. Text 125. Due to the association of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, my mind has been enlightened. Therefore I have asked Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya about the truths of transcendental loving service to Krishna. Wow. That's interesting, because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was like the biggest Mayavadi in India. And by the association of Lord Caitanya, he became such a great devotee that he says this here, amazing. He says, due to the association of Sarvabhaumacharya, my mind has been enlightened. Therefore I have asked Sarvabhaumacharya about the truths of transcendental loving service to Krishna. Text 126, Sarvabhaumacharya told me, I do not actually know about the topics of Lord Krishna. They are all known only to Ramananda Roy, but he is not present here. There's a nice pastime of Sarvabhaumacharya, and his son-in-law, Amoga. Sarvabhaumacharya had invited Lord Caitanya to have lunch at his home. So he invited him. And he had this son-in-law, Amoga, who was, for some reason, very envious of Lord Caitanya. So envious of Lord Caitanya that Sarvabhaumacharya, when Lord Caitanya had come, he asked him to sit and serve up. He was at the door with a stick, just in case Amoga came to criticize Lord Caitanya. You can imagine, it must have been some amazing incidents before that, isn't it? For him to have a stick, ready to beat his own son-in-law if he came. So his wife was serving out prasadam to Lord Caitanya, and he could see that she needed some help. So he went and helped serve out some prasadam. But in his inattentive guard duty, Amoga stuck his head through the door and saw all the prasadam. He said, "What is this? This is enough for 10 people. What kind of a sannyasi is this?" As soon as he said that, Sarvabhaumacharya looked at him, and if fire could come out of his eyes and burn him, it would have come out. And when Amoga saw that, he thought, "Uh-oh, I'm in trouble." So he took off running. So Sarvabhaumacharya, he went chasing him. He was elderly, so he couldn't catch him, but he had his stick, and he was ready to beat him if he had caught him. So then Sarvabhaumacharya, he came back, and he was begging for forgiveness. "Lord Caitanya, I'm so sorry. You've come to my home, and this rascal has come, and he's criticizing you, he's blaspheming you." And Lord Caitanya said, No, it's okay. It's not. He's right. I shouldn't be eating so much. I'm a sannyasi. No, this is very bad. Lord Sarvabhaumacharya and his wife, they felt so bad. So then Lord Caitanya said, No, it's okay. It's okay. He's your son-in-law. It's okay. So then Lord Caitanya went back to his quarters, and the next day Gopinath Acharya, who was the brother-in-law of Sarvabhaumacharya, went to see Lord Caitanya. And Lord Caitanya said, "How is Sarvabhaumacharya and his wife?" And he said, "Oh, they're fasting. They've fasted ever since that incident yesterday." And Lord Caitanya said, "Oh, why are they taking this so serious? It's not such a big deal." And Amoga, how's Amoga? He's dying of cholera. So Lord Caitanya said, "Take me to him." So he took him. Amoga's lying on his deathbed. And Lord Caitanya said to him, "Amoga, you are born into a very nice Brahmin family. The heart of a Brahmana is meant to be very nice so that Krishna can sit there comfortably. Why have you allowed this chandala of envy to sit in your heart, making it not a nice place?" Now Amoga, he put his hand on his chest. "Now Amoga, chant this Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. As soon as Lord Chaitanya chanted the mantra, he took his hand off his chest, and Amoga started chanting the Hare Krishna mantra so enthusiastically. It's mentioned that he came out, he jumped out of his deathbed, and he's chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare, and he's slapping his face. He's slapping it real hard, not softly like I'm doing, but really hard. He's slapping his face. This mouth has blasphemed the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he's slapping, and his face became swollen. He was hitting it so hard. And then Gopinath Acharya, he was there, and he contained him. He said, come on, it's okay. So then he paid obeisances to Lord Chaitanya. He said, Lord Chaitanya, please forgive me for my sins, for my criticism, for my envy. And Lord Chaitanya forgave him. He became a great devotee. So why did he become such a great devotee? Simply because he was an associate of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So it's very important to have good devotees as good friends. Yeah. So he became a great Vaishnava. Text one, okay, maybe we'll stop there and ask if there's any questions or comments about this very, I don't know if I could say anything about it, if anybody has a question, but it's yes.
You just made the point it is good to have good devotees as good friends. And then we also know it's one of the 10 offenses to on the strength of chanting the holy name. So is there any benefit if we knowingly, make mistakes?
Committing offenses on the strength of chanting the holy name.
Knowing that if we have good association, we can...
Oh yeah. So yeah, one may ask, well, how do we know who is a good friend? How do we know who is a good friend? We know who is our friend and who is our enemy by behavior. By behavior. Someone is our friend who is looking out for our good interest, has our good interest at heart. Or as they say now, watching your back. Thinking of helping. This is a friend who wants to help one in their Krishna consciousness. And it's actually, it's rare in Kali Yuga to have a very good friend. Another great qualification of a friend is trust. A good friend you could trust completely. And who is our best friend? Krishna is our best friend. And we were with Krishna, but at one point we thought, oh, I'd like to have that position of Krishna. I'd like to be the enjoyer, the proprietor. And then we came here to try to be Krishna. So the trust has been lost. The trust has been lost. So now we have to convince Krishna, I'm not going to do that again. Not easy. Just like imagine there's two friends, very good friends, like blood brothers. In America we have this. It's actually kind of Tamasic. Two friends, they nick their thumbs, and they put it together. They become blood brothers. So imagine such friends. They're so close. But one becomes very wealthy and the other one, he's kind of getting by. And this one that's kind of getting by, he steals a lot of money from his friend. Like a lot of money. So the trust has been lost. So to mend that relationship is difficult because the trust has been lost. Or infidelity. Unfortunately, there's a lot of infidelity, in marriages. And this is one of the most important parts of a marriage, trust, chastity. And to break that, very difficult. Marriages are lost because of that. I remember reading not too long ago, there was a man went to his home and he saw there's a man's having sex with his wife in his bed. So he killed them both. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is a problem. I remember I was just reading, or just saw one video on YouTube somewhere. These devotees, they go to prisons, and they make devotees in prisons. So this devotee who's preaching at the prisons, he was asking different people why they were in prison. And one of them said, my best friend had sex with my wife. I killed him. Here is his best friend. You would think that there'd be a little more respect, but no. Trust is lost. But what's very interesting about this is because of that incident, he went to prison for, I don't know how many years. And there in prison, became a devotee. Interesting. He went through such a traumatic thing. Killing his best friend. I mean, can you imagine? I'm just like... But because of that horrible incident, he became a devotee. I'll tell you an interesting story. There was a young man who was studying different cultures, different people. And he went to one island in the South Pacific to study the tribes. And he was a motorcycle rider, so it's also a tourist place, so he rented a motorcycle. And he was going around the island. And he found some tribes people and he was studying them. Then he left and he got in a motorcycle accident. Horrible motorcycle accident. He wasn't hurt except for he hit his head and he got amnesia. Completely lost his memory. Totally. Didn't know his name, didn't know anything. So now he's on this island. Pretty awkward situation, right? Didn't know anything. So his father back in the States, he had been expecting him, but he didn't show up. So for weeks, he's in this island just wandering around. Then some tribes people find him. And somehow they were able to understand that he was in this awkward situation. And they took him to their village there and they were engaging him, doing different things. So the father's getting very anxious. His son was supposed to be back, like 2 weeks earlier. He hadn't come back. And there was no cell phones. So he knew what island he went through, so he went to the island. And he's looking for his son. And he sees a motorcycle shop. So, oh my boy, he rides a motorcycle. He went there, he said, hey, did anybody You know, he gave the description. Anybody here rent a motorcycle? Oh, yeah. He was supposed to be back weeks ago. He never came back, huh? Oh, so now he's got an idea. Now, at least he's got the motorcycle. So now he's got an idea. He's probably driving around. Something happened. So he's searching. He's going around. He got someone to drive him around the island. He found the motorcycle. Crashed motorcycle. So now he can't be too far from here. So he's going around with this guide, and they're looking around, and they find the village, and he finds his son. And he's so happy to see his son. He's, oh, son, so can't remember his father. Still, total amnesia. Son, it's me, your father. Just treating him like a total stranger. I don't know. You know, don't get too close. You know, I don't know you. You know? Total amnesia. So the father thinks, well, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? So he thought that he had a friend, a doctor in the States that deals with people that has amnesia. So he flew back to the States. And he found this friend. He said, this situation, my son, he's got amnesia. He doesn't remember me. Just, please, can you come and help? I said, yeah. So they flew back. And the doctor could see his awkward situation. So he says, I think I have a solution. So he had this instrument that would shock people. So he shocked this boy. But it didn't work. So he shocked him again. And then he snapped out of it. And he understood. His whole memory came back to him. He saw his father. Hey, Dad, what are you doing here? What are we doing here? His memory came back completely. This is called the shock treatment. And sometimes in our life, we may be going through some traumatic period, and Krishna puts us through a shock treatment. Such a shock treatment that it actually wakes us up. That, wait a second, there must be something more to life than what I've been doing. I had that experience myself. You know. And then I got a Bhagavad Gita. So sometimes Krishna puts us through very traumatic periods in our life just to wake us up. You know. Just like this example of the boy in prison. You know. Such a traumatic experience, but that opened him up to Krishna consciousness. Anybody here ever have a shock treatment? Yeah, look at all the hands that came up. You see? So, and it's good. It's good. It helps us to wake up. And sometimes we have little shock treatments, you know, as we go on in our Krishna conscious journey, and they're good. And therefore, Queen Kunti, she prays, please, Krishna, give me more shock treatments. Give me more calamities. They're welcome. Please send more. Because then, when they come, I'm able to think of you. So these are Krishna's blessings in disguise. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much for giving class today. I have this is not related, if that's okay. I have this experience where sometimes I get very sad because I'm afraid that it happens rarely, but it's deep when it does. I'm afraid that like I won't be there when I remember Krishna. Like I won't make it. Like in the way that I don't remember my past lives. You know, I'll live this life and I won't remember anything, and I'll come to Krishna and I don't know, like where are those memories gonna go? Does that make sense? Like, I just feel like it's kind of like out of reach. It's always out of reach. And something that helps me is remembering that I think Srila Prabhupada said it's like walking from one door into another, and that can happen in this life. So my fear, I guess, is that if it doesn't happen in this life, then like I'll have to forget all over again. I'll have to forget everything that I've learned. So I was wondering if you could shed some light. Like,
Very
I know
good.
if we chant our 16 rounds and we stick to the process, maybe it can happen. But is there anything that, I don't know, any realization you have about how to ensure?
Okay. Very good question, yeah. You're not alone. Many of us think, oh, will I make it? Because it's not easy to go back to Godhead. Prabhupada said, my disciples, they have two diseases. One, not enough afraid of Maya. So we should have a firm fear of Maya. And that means taking shelter of Krishna. All day, every waking minute, taking shelter of Krishna. And the other one, he said, we like to change things. He said, I've given you everything. Don't change it. So, yeah, to have that anxiety is good. That's spiritual anxiety. Yeah. Even in the spiritual world, Madhya Soda, she's in anxiety. Oh, Krishna is not going to be able to eat when he goes out. There's an anxiety. The gopis are in anxiety. They see Krishna walking on barefoot. So that's transcendental anxiety. Will I be able to remember Krishna? That's good. Keep that anxiety. And take shelter of Krishna, the holy name, reading Prabhupada's books. Yeah. And hope against hope. Seems inconceivable how, we're all, born in such degraded circumstances. How is it possible that I'm going to become a pure devotee? But by the mercy of Lord Caitanya, by the mercy of Krishna, it's possible. Katanchana samate yasman duskaram sukaram bhavet vishmate ritaritang shad Sri Caitanya namamitam. If we remember Lord Caitanya, then very difficult things become very easy. If we forget Lord Caitanya, then very easy things become very difficult. So Lord Caitanya, he's very merciful. So we should pray to Lord Caitanya, pray to Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda's appearance day is coming right up. I think in 9 days, Lord Chaitanya's appearance day is coming up. We should take shelter, pray for mercy. They're very merciful. We have to beg. One devotee asked Gorkashore Das Babaji, what does it take to attain love for Krishna? He said, he asked the question to Gorkashore Das Babaji. Are you listening? What does it take to attain love for Krishna? And he said, you have to beg. You have to beg for it. Please, Krishna, give me love for you. Please, Krishna, give me love for you. Please, Krishna, give me love for you. I don't want this nonsense sense gratification anymore. I've been wasting so many lifetimes in this nonsense sense gratification. Please, give me love for you. Got to beg. Got to get intense. If we want to go back to Godhead, it's called Tivra Bhakti. Tivra Bhakti means intense devotion. We got to get intense. We got to very intense, and Krishna will help us. Okay? Okay, it's a little late now. Okay, maybe one more question. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the class. My question and your answer. Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for the wonderful class. My question is your answer to her question. When you said that Prabhupada says no change, the second thing that Prabhupada said. On that, I feel that as the Kali Yuga is proceeding,
So I'm talking for myself. I'm not up to the standard what Prabhupada gave his disciple, whether it's Mangalarti or everything else. I'm not there. Somewhere or the other, either I'm changing or things are changing and I'm going along. And at the same time, I have the anxiety. Will I still make it?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
I said, Prabhupada said, right?
Yeah, like don't change things, okay.
Things.
Yeah.
But it is being changed, whether by me or somebody else or however. Like many things, the way it was that time and the way it is, there's so much of difference. And at the same time, I have the anxiety that whether I will make it back.
Yeah.
So how is it that I'm making a change or I'm going through the changes, what Prabhupada gave from the standard, I'm falling down. And at the same time, I'm hoping to going back to Godhead. How do I put this together?
Well, with yourself, don't change anything. Don't change anything what Prabhupada set up. But with others, you don't try to change others. Prabhupada said we should be strict with ourselves and lenient with others. So be strict with yourself. You know what Prabhupada wanted. Don't change that. At least you can do that. As far as other things, leave that, for themselves. We can't try to change others. Otherwise, it gets difficult. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.